Space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of a new Trekkie. My 5-year mission to search out Star Trek media, to seek out our fans and merchandise, to boldly go where no fan has gone before.
Greetings and salutations. We're back to talk about 2 episodes from Star Trek from season 2, from the original run of Star Trek. And the 2 episodes we're looking at are Friday's Child and The Deadly Years. Let's go ahead and look at Friday's Child first. In this episode, the crew of the Enterprise become entangled in a planet's tribal power struggle, and also the presence of a Klingon and woman who does not want her unborn child. I get the ideas that they're trying to do, and a planet of people that say only the strong shall survive, and then basically she is just she believes she doesn't really believe it, but she doesn't want the child because she's thinking well, I don't have control over my own destiny, so why should I have this child and all that? So basically, Kirk, Spock, and Bones are all having to make sure she's safe, and as well as trying to figure out what is this Klingon, what is he up to? And well, I think some of these ideas are really intriguing. The moments where there can be moments of adventure and all that.
Sound battle stations.
They can work. Sometimes things can be a little bit silly, the fact suddenly the lady saying our child between her and Bones, because she's only letting Bones, since he's a doctor, help her out.
You will not touch me in that manner.
I'll be honest, at first I thought maybe this episode has I kept on thinking maybe it's having an abortion kind of view, mostly because she is not really wanting the child, but eventually she does keep the child in a way, mostly because she's this is my child, this is not this man's child, this is not his child, this is mine, I'm going to raise this child, sort of deal. And I kind of think that this episode is especially well, what I'm trying to say is I think this episode works. I think sometimes the character arc can be quite interesting. The costuming in this episode works really well.
To reach the landing party is strange.
Say to yourself, the child is mine.
It's yours.
It's very colorful to look at. But honestly, I'm going to say this. While I think this episode is alright, the episode can be at times quite dull. And I hate to say that because Star Trek should not be boring. And yeah, I think all the ideas are working. I think the character actors are doing a really good job in all this. And it's also showing hey, the Klingons are still a force that should not be trifled with. And I think this one episode where we basically discover, okay, this is the forming of the Klingons, especially this is still not the point in the franchise where they have not gotten the full ways they look yet. And I actually kind of like this episode. The actors are doing a good job, but honestly, if you're interested in more episodes I have with the Klingons and have a bit of, like, say, the crew interacting with, like, say, a society that is more primitive, I'd say is the word, then yeah, I'd say this episode would be in for you. Let's go look at the next episode, which is so in this episode, strange radiation from causes members of the crew to age rapidly, and I'll be honest, I found this one quite well. I think the dramatic aspects of it, like say suddenly all the characters aging, and sometimes like the fact like say, okay, you might have a captain who might not remember anymore because Kirk cannot remember much anymore. Spock, his vision's going bad, and all that. And here's the one thing I'll say for this: I love this episode because the makeup, they did a great job
In a considerably lesser time.
on it. So I really, it gets 1 point for that, in my opinion. However, well, I think the dramatic moments are good. It takes, in my opinion, it can be a bit slow in that, okay, we can get an idea of what's going on, but I sometimes like say there's characters that are slowly aging to death. I really don't think that sometimes like besides like say the main crew, like one, I think like say one character is like, although it's like say quite intriguing, like say okay they're slowly aging and dying. As a viewer, like say you don't really, you probably think like say, oh my gosh, are all the cat crew members going to find a cure for this? And they do. I'm sorry, like one of the issues I just have with this episode as well is, while the acting is good, all like say the ideas it's trying to do, like say, like what would happen if you're suddenly incapacitated from your job.
You mean another 20,000, Captain?
I fail to understand why each one of my commands is being questioned.
Like, and lives are on the line and all that. I think this episode can be quite dull as well. And like I said, I don't think Trek should be dull in that, unfortunately. This one can be a little bit dull in the fact that you're just like waiting for more, like say, bad things to happen to get to where it needs to be, and it's just slow in that. But I will say that the makeup does great, the camera work is great, acting is great from everyone.
You stab me in the back the first chance you get? Get out.
And overall, that concept of it is really is pretty good. But overall, I just find this one, like say, if you can get through it, it's worth it. But it can be quite dull. But like once as the episode ends, that's when it gets to the good moments, I'd say. But what do you guys think of both of these two episodes? Do you think they're good? Do you think they're bad? Put your thoughts in the comments down below. Let me know. And as always, thanks for watching, and I shall see you next time. See you later.